One of the things I love most about being a minimalist is that it brings with it a sense of freedom. And I've noticed that by focusing on what's really important to me and decluttering the things that no longer bring me value, there are also some things that I kind of just stopped caring about, and that is very liberating in many different ways. So today I thought I'd share with you 10 things I've stopped caring about as a minimalist. Welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, this is a place where you can get tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier and calmer life. Definitely hit subscribe down below if you haven't already to follow along. I would love to see you again next week. Before we begin, a quick thanks to today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. They are an online learning platform with thousands of fantastic classes where I like to go when there is something I want to learn or get better at. Maybe you want to start a new creative hobby and you want to learn photography, or learn how to make your own clothing, or improve your cooking skills, or even improve your singing voice. Or maybe you want to take your career into a new direction and you want to learn coding or e-commerce or making a living with your own creative business. Skillshare has classes for all levels taught by people who know their stuff, and they are always so helpful. When there is something that we want to learn, oftentimes the whole thing just kind of seems very daunting or overwhelming, and we kind of just feel like, yeah, I would like to learn that one day, but we never actually end up doing it. But oftentimes we just need that first little push. We just need to get started by someone teaching us the basics, and that's why Skillshare is so amazing for me. So let's say that you've been thinking about getting into gardening, then you can watch Geraldine Levin's class called Gardening 101, where she teaches you everything you need to know for growing and caring for your own plants. Skillshare has given me an extra good deal to share with you for today's video, so the first 500 people to click my link in the description box will not only get 30 days for free, but you will also get 40% off on your first year of Skillshare. So really big thanks to Skillshare for supporting the channel. Let's begin with the video. Waking up at 5 a.m/elaborate morning routines. This trend has been around for a while, and I'm sure that it works for a lot of people. But whenever you start to see all of those like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. morning routines on YouTube, you might feel like that's what you need to do as well, because these people, seem very productive and are getting all of these things done and they're being very healthy, and it looks very goals, and it makes us feel like we're lazy if we don't get up at 5 a.m. I am a morning person for sure, but waking up at 5 a.m. for me seems absolutely miserable. So my point here is just personally that I don't think that it really matters when you get up or when you go to bed, reasonably speaking, as long as you're getting enough sleep and if your rhythm matches what feels natural for you. I don't think that you can only be productive from 5 to 7 a.m. in the morning, for example. Whenever I used to see those morning routine videos, I always got a little, I don't know, I felt weird for maybe not participating in it, where you see people waking up really early and then immediately doing a workout and then only having like a smoothie or something for breakfast. It feels so weird to me because that is not my rhythm at all. And if I work out straight after waking up, I'm going against everything that my body is telling me. And then only having a smoothie after is like, I don't even know how these people do it, to be honest. So just because you perhaps see all of these people doing something, whatever it is, kind of trend on YouTube or social media in general, it doesn't mean that you also have to hop on board or that you're not doing it right if that's just not for you. Of course, you can try things out and see, maybe you do like it a lot, and that is fine too, of course. But if it doesn't speak to you, then feel free to just let that train go by. So this goes for those 5 a.m. morning routines, but also basically for anything, just the way that people do things. If that's not right for you or your body, feel free to skip that one. Number 2, over accumulating things. I used to think that being a certain way or being into something means that you also have to own the stuff that is associated with that thing. So for example, if you love something, then you should get like a lot of merch for that thing, or if you went somewhere on a trip, then you should get some like souvenirs back. Basically, I learned to associate identity or interests or passions with stuff, with things. And that is something that minimalism kind of untaught me. You can be a huge fan of something and have little to no merch, or you can go on a trip and not bring back souvenirs. It's all about balance, of course. You are allowed to do these things if you are a minimalist. I do have some small like Studio Ghibli merch thingies, and I have some fridge magnets that I can't use in this apartment because our fridge is built in, so I don't really know what to do with those. But you know, I have some things and that's fine, but it's really all about balance. I think kind of what we learn with our stuff is just that it says something about us, and we kind of learn to accumulate it without really questioning it. Like, yes, I'm into that thing, so I should buy all of the stuff. And sometimes, you know, having some of it may help, but other times, you know, I can watch all the Studio Ghibli movies without owning a ton of different merch. So you don't always have to have everything associated with your identity or your passions. Number 3, other people's expectations of me. Whether that's career focused, for example, I remember when I was still in my corporate career and my bosses were, you know, really expecting a lot of me, and they wanted me to work more. Like, I wasn't working 5 days a week, I wanted to work 4 days a week, and they kept pressuring me into working 5 days a week because then I could have the career of my dreams, for example, when really that was not what I wanted for myself at all. Or whether it's family focused, people perhaps pressuring you. This doesn't happen to me that often, I have to admit, but maybe people pressuring you into starting a family when you're not ready or when you're not into it. I, for myself, am not interested in starting a family. We are child-free by choice, so that is some kind of an expectation that society might have of you or of me that I just stopped caring about. It could also be things like people expecting you to buy a bigger house with a backyard, when really my partner and I are much, much happier in a smaller apartment with a balcony. So in the end, no one really cares about you as much as you might think. And this is something called the spotlight effect, where we really feel like we are the center of the universe and everyone is thinking about us and our life choices. But in reality, people might like think of you for a minute, and they might even express some kind of expectation that they have, that they think you should do. How annoying that is. But in the end, they go on with their own lives, and that is something that you can do as well. I think when it comes to other people's expectations of us, of course this is different depending on the culture where you live, but I think we can just kind of file them into the nice to know, but I'm not going to do anything with it folder. Number 4 is something kind of silly, but also kind of big. Looking cute in holiday photos. Going on holiday used to be quite stressful for me, and it still is quite stressful for me because I'm a highly sensitive person and traveling is exhausting and fun. But there used to be an extra added layer of stress for me because I felt like I needed to look cute in all of the pictures. Because you know you're going to take some pictures when you're traveling, so I would have to bring all of my hair accessories that I had back then, like my straightener and all of my clothes, and I wanted to have different outfits to wear so that I could wear something different in the pictures, and the whole thing was just so unnecessary, basically. This is something that I completely stopped caring about. I think it has to do with insecurity, it has to do with ego, and traveling, for me at least, it doesn't really involve any of that stuff anymore. I want to experience it, and I want to live the life there, and I want to have conversations with people there and eat the food and look at the buildings and all of that stuff, and I want to have a good time. I don't want to have to worry about how I look in pictures. And I want to travel light and not bring so many crap with me that I don't need just to, like, I don't know, do my hair, whatever. So of course when I'm traveling I do want to look put together and just like clean and you know, look nice, but I'm not really worried about how I look in pictures or any of that stuff anymore. Number 5, making things awkward when I really need to stand up for myself. I have to honestly admit, with this one, it is very much still a work in progress for me. This is still very scary, but I am practicing. I have always had a really hard time with standing up for myself when I really need to. And please let me know in the comments if any of you recognize this, so that I don't feel alone in that. I think there are several reasons why this has always been so hard for me, and I think it's also because I wasn't really attuned to my own boundaries and my own feelings as much as I was over attuned to the feelings of others, and not wanting to upset anyone, not wanting to step on anyone's toes or ruffle any feathers. I don't want anyone else to feel bad, and also if me saying something could possibly make the situation awkward, I would just laugh it off, even if I really needed to say something. One example is that I really wanted to start practicing with asking my questions and not being afraid to make things awkward when it comes to healthcare. So I think it is so important to not let yourself be brushed off. If you think that what they're saying doesn't really apply to you, or you have more questions, or you want more information, or you want to learn about other ways of treatment or whatever is on your mind, to really speak up. And I've also learned that if I don't feel comfortable with my dentist or with my doctor, to switch to new ones, to people that I do feel comfortable with. And I have an amazing female dentist now, I have a female doctor now, and I feel great with them, so everything is just so much simpler. Don't be afraid to ask questions, don't be afraid to say what you want. If you're in the chair at the hairdresser's and you think that they're cutting off too much, speak up, and this is hard for me. I'm really used to just suffering in silence. So I try to train myself when it comes to this. If I can already see it coming in advance, I kind of like to practice saying these things out loud a couple of times. Or if I'm going to the doctors, I will write down my questions and make myself ask every one of them. Or let's say someone kind of blindsides me, or it's later that I think like, oh, I wish I could have said this or could have said that, and it is someone that you could perhaps like call back or send an email or something. You could actually just get back to them and say like, hey, that conversation we just had doesn't sit right with me, or stand up for yourself and say what you want to say without fearing that you don't want to make things awkward. Number 6, how many friends I have, or how many people I have in my phone. When it comes to minimalism, the quantity over quality, or no, quality over quantity principle, I think also applies to the people that we have in our life. I have some amazing friends that I have known for a really, really long time, and I don't see them like every week actually. I only see them like once every couple months usually, but it's always like good. It always feels right, and these are the people that I really treasure. And therefore I don't mind anymore that I am not the person who has a huge social circle and who has 150 people in her phone, in her contact list, because I don't. My contact list is very, very, very short. And this used to bug me a little, to the point where I would feel a little lonely looking through my contact list and not seeing like a lot of people there. And I would even keep the people from previous jobs that I wasn't in touch with anymore in my contact list, simply to not see it shrink down too much, which is very silly. Another silly one is number 7, how expensive my clothes and accessories are. This is something I used to do, and this is embarrassing admitting on a channel where I often talk about minimalism. I used to kind of calculate in my head what my outfit cost. So I'd be like my shoes, my jeans, my shirt, my jewelry, my bag, my jacket, and I would be like, ooh, like I'm 700 euros today, that's cool. I don't know why. And I'm very happy that I stopped caring about this when I did. Number 8, drama or gossip or celebrity gossip. Just in general, I love my life to be drama-free. I also really don't enjoy gossip, and I really don't enjoy celebrity gossip either. I think that sometimes we forget that these are real people. And everyone looks crappy every now and then when they're throwing out the trash. We don't have to take their picture and be like, oh, they look so bad. Like, what is that doing for anyone really? I've never really been the type of person to enjoy drama in my life, but I did used to kind of enjoy, if I'm honest, gossip with colleagues, or like, what he said or what she did. And I really stopped caring about this. I think it's just a lot of negativity that is not contributing anything to anyone, and I would much rather be someone who only talks positively about others instead of being the one that's always like gossiping. Number 9, responding to people straight away. I know some people who really get like nervous if they have someone send them a text and they've read it, but they don't respond right away. They're like, oh, they're waiting for a reply or something. I kind of stopped caring about that. It's also because I've turned off all of my notifications because I want to be in charge of when I want to use my phone and not the other way around. So the people in my life know that if there's something really urgent, they can always call me. And if not, they can send me a text and I'll check it, a few times a day, but I'm not really feeling like I need to respond straight away. Sometimes I also just kind of need to think about it. If someone asks me something, it's like, okay, I'm thinking about it in my head and then I'll reply like a couple hours later. I think that we kind of need to stop expecting this of each other. If you send someone a text, I personally view it more as kind of like an email. I don't really need a reply straight away, otherwise I'll call. And number 10, which I called crap from the past. So this can be things that happened in the past that maybe explain a bit more about why I am the way I am. We all have experiences in our life that shaped us, both in positive ways as well as in negative ways. This one is more about the negative ways. I feel like sometimes it can really be good to dig deep into why we maybe have certain issues or something that happened in our childhood, something that we went through, and it's good to kind of have that figured out for yourself. But at the same time, I just wanted to let go of these things and not hold on to them anymore as a way of explaining why I, for example, can't grow as I am now. So I don't want to use them as excuses like, yeah, I am this way because this and this happened, and that's why I can't change in any way. I want to mostly look forward. So I feel like just like we can declutter things that hold, for example, negative emotions or negative memories from our past, we can also kind of do that with the thought patterns and the memories that we have in our own head and be like, okay, this happened, it sucks, I've dealt with it, and I'm now letting go of it in order to move on and to focus on the future. Let it go. Sorry. And this can also be with things that you used to say. For example, you're allowed to change your mind about things. Someone recently asked me on the channel, like, you have a bunch of cookbooks now, but in this and that video from a few years ago, you said that you found cookbooks to be unnecessary. Like, why? What happened there? I'm confused. And it's like, yeah, I changed my mind. That's fine. We can change our minds. We can change, and our priorities might shift, and we can grow, and certain things that we might have said a couple years ago, we might think about differently now, and that is absolutely fine. So that's another thing that you can definitely let go if you feel like you've outgrown it or you've changed. And of course, there are still a number of things that I care about very strongly. So I'm not saying that we should all just be apathetic and not care anymore. It's just that we can identify some things that we just want to let go of. So this is more a bit like mental decluttering. So now I would love to know from you if there is something that you used to really care about, but you just don't anymore, and how that has affected your life. So if you want to, feel free to share that in the comments. If you'd like more videos from me and help support my work, then you can always join us on Patreon. There are already close to 100 videos on there, plus 2 new ones every month, and the income that I make from Patreon helps me to keep making these videos. So feel free to join us, patreon.com/simplehappyzen. And if you feel like challenging yourself or learning new things, then definitely check out Skillshare. Link in the description. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye. I felt like challenging myself yesterday, and I did a new workout, and now my body is sore all over. It literally hurts to even sit down.